will pull up and shoot the three whenever he thinks about it. He was 2 of 5 in game 1.
Perkins, as we know, an outstanding shooter from the three-point line, which develops into an excellent free throw shooter.
He's 10 out of 13 from the free throw line in the playoffs. Sonics now lead by 3. Reggie Theus on the sidelines with us tonight. Reggie, what do you have?
Hey, Bob, you were talking about Charles being in a bad mood. He's just real emotional right now. The timeout, he was throwing things over here at the huddle, and then after that block shot, which wasn't called, he was knocked the towel out of the Cowboys' hand. He's fired up. He's ready to go. And you know he worked on it after the game 1, so he is really fired up going to the bucket.
Well, you can see it. He's 3 of 4 from the field, has 6 points already. Perkins, who started tonight. Here's the touchdown pass intended for Ellie. Nice catch, but he can't get into the end zone, so they'll set it up. Drexler.
And they know enough about Charles. When he's emotional, get him the ball, which they just did, particularly after a timeout.
Olajuwon spinning and kicking. Who's going to be open? 8 on the shot clock. Drexler dishing. Barkley misses the dunk. He got the call. And deservedly so.
Technical foul.
Some emotion in this game. This is so different than the emotional intensity level for either team in game 1. And the technical, as you can see, is on Shawn Kemp.
You're exactly right. And you made a good point earlier tonight, averaging 4.8 fouls per game.
Yeah.
This one will not count as a personal, but another technical, could add up to a problem later on. But you're so right about the emotions in this particular game. Let's take a look at it. Dish off, goes up.
Ooh, not much of one.
Not much.
But then Charles, you pointed out the other end when he got the block down there. He says, give me a call now.
He got it. Argue your case, as they say.
Barkley shooting 67% from the line in the playoffs. He was 3 of 5 from the free throw line in game 1. The Chuckster is on a mission for a ring. This will be probably his last opportunity.
Yeah, you say that, but you kind of look at this teams and the amount of games they played. He only played 53 games this year. Clyde Drexler played 62. They can play another year together, this group, and Rudy's done a good job of inserting the right kind of person for his style of game, and could work for another year at least.
Charles Barkley has 8 points early. He leads all scorers, and it's a 10-2 run, and the Rockets are up by 2. Tate thought about the 3. Kicks it to Perkins. Not there. Here's another let-out pass to Ellie. The follow. Charles in. He has 10. Barkley. 10 points halfway through the first period.
They leak out, and it's a problem, and they're doing an excellent job of throwing long. That's a tough pass, by the way.
Kemp down inside draws the foul.
There's the long pass. Ellie can't quite control it, but he sees Barkley trailing on the play. Barkley comes strong.
That's because he worked out after the game. Here he is being worked out. As soon as the game was over, we thought Charles was coming out here for an interview. He walked on the floor, past all the TV cameras, and started jogging.
Well, he's been talking consistently about his lack of conditioning. Didn't play that many games. We mentioned it in the regular season. And then, they did so well in the first round, eliminating Minnesota in 3 games. And then, actually, they sit around 4, 5, 6 days. You can lose your conditioning.
Both the free throws were good, and as Clyde Drexler said, Charles has a way of making a statement to his teammates, too. Like, don't get really up over this win. Maybe we need to continue to work hard. Of course, he does that in the locker room as they're celebrating the victory and comes back on the floor.
Well, there we saw a case of Olajuwon using his speed and beating for the foul.
Barkley! Ball belongs to Houston. Charles is working hard tonight. Perkins, by the way, picked up the personal error a moment ago, his first of the night.
That's interesting. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, Charles would not have missed it. But he's not, age has caught up to him, and he had a little bit of problem underneath. But Olajuwon doesn't.
That's Akeem's first basket of the night. Barkley with the rebound. He has 4 already to go with his 10 points. Oh, he wanted the 3. Olajuwon, there's the double team. He traveled. Looked up the pivot foot. And the Perkins experiment will come to a halt, I think, here. Terry Cummings into the game. No, wait a minute. Let's see who's going out. Well, they didn't whistle him in yet.
Pretty good example of the previous play. Shawn Kemp got a very, very deep post up, but all of a sudden it gets a little impatient and misses a pretty easy shot for him.
Yeah, now they've decided there were 6 players on the floor there, Chuck, and Kemp reluctantly left the floor. So Perkins did not go away, but Perkins will move out to the forward, and Cummings will now play Olajuwon. Hersey Hawkins from the corner.
Hersey Hawkins for 3.
Hersey, dynamite shooter from three-point land, 40% on the regular season.
Ellie, 3 for Mario. He was 5 of 5 in game 1. 22-18 Houston. Tremp is fouled on the drive.
That was. Take a look at Ellie. Watch how he tees his ball up, kind of a set shot, catches it under a little movement, which is normally him. Look how he just sets it up off the shoulder, flicks it, and he has really done some great shooting in the playoffs and basically all year.
One of the reasons that Seattle was able to sweep as Kevin Willis comes into the ballgame, able to sweep Houston last year, is Mario Ellie had a sore wrist and didn't have that nice setup and couldn't make it, and therefore didn't shoot so well. Ellie, by the way, you probably know the story, was drafted by Milwaukee, didn't even make it through training camp, got cut, went to play in Europe. George Karl liked him in the CBA. He played for him in the Albany Patroons. George kept trying to get Mario Ellie a job somewhere in the NBA. Finally got him one with George's buddy Don Nelson at Golden State, and the rest is history. So he says he loves George Karl, but he also loves eating George Karl.
I understand. And, you know, this three-point shooting situation is not new. He shoots 42% for the year, so it isn't like anything new.
22-19 Houston, 4:40 to go. In period number 1, Willis jumper. Kevin Willis, the free agent. He and Sadale Creed and Eddie Johnson, all 3 free agents, make up the 8-man rotation. There's Hawkins, who's 3 out of 3 from beyond the arc. Hersey Hawkins, and it's a 2-point game.
Hersey Hawkins the other night could not make a basket, and then actually overall he has 13 points, but the other night late in the game he made 3 that got it to a comfortable margin where the game really didn't look quite as bad as it was.
Perkins gets the set shot as Willis was late getting there, and that'll be a triple. So we've got the threes raining here tonight. Let's see how many there have been already in the game. Sonics lead it by 1 point. Seattle's 4 out of 6. Houston's 3 out of 6. So these 2 teams have already taken 12 three-pointers. First quarter.
Well, Charles talked after the first game that this being a trap, and he fell right into it right there, deciding, well, everybody else is making them. I'll take one too.
Shrimp dishes nicely. Cummings gets the lay-in. And the Sonics back to a 3-point lead. And it's an 8-0 Seattle run. It's been a game of runs. Seattle went on the first one, followed by Houston, and now the Sonics come back. That slam dunk by Willis, and it's a 1-point Seattle lead.
Well, Drexler split the trap outside, and once he did that, he had only one guy to beat, took it right to the basket, dumped it off, and made an easy field goal for Houston.
Pete lost in traffic. He's fouled as he tried to pass out beyond the arc to Perkins. There's the score from game 1 tonight. New York beat Miami 88-79. That personal on Mario Ellie, and that's his second.
Timeout, Sonics.
And the Sonics have called a timeout as they lead it by 1 with 3:08 to go in the first period. Seattle up by a point here. They just called the timeout on the floor. 3:08 to go in the first period of play. And Reggie Theus, you're over by the Sonics huddle. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm right here with my nose all in the huddle. And George Karl's talking about that Hawkins is so hot that we got to get him the ball right now. So they're going to run a play for him and get him off. Also, they said this is our type of tempo basketball game. Keep pushing it. Keep the pressure on him. Guys?
Reggie, George Karl said, matter of fact, you're spending more time in his huddle than you did a lot of huddles when you were playing. He was kidding, though, wasn't he?